Good morning. Dumelang. Sanbonan. Rekopa. IT people. Nkanyiso, lower your voice, please. I'm requesting that we cannot start now. They are still connecting some of the IT so that we should be able to proceed in terms of the procedures of the legislator. You should not say that the advert was saying that the meeting will start at 10 and nothing has been started. Kikopa, can I apologize? Meanwhile, the technical team is still busy. As soon as they are done, we will start with our meeting. I hope the Letabong Central Group is here. Kimba Central Hostel, bate? Okay. And the other group, or 35. Or 35, is it here? Okay. Or 34 is here. We won. Honamo. Honamo. Hot 19. Jabulo, are they still coming on 19? HOD, we didn't invite a lot of people, stakeholders today. We have selected in terms of our agenda because we want to discuss issues which are related to those areas which we have invited. Yeah, kia kopa bana ba mma re ka tswa re eme until ba technical group ba fetsa ngere. Okay.
Test, 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 test. Test, 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 test.
can start. Nkanyiso, can you hear me? We can start. You are fine. We can start. Okay, thanks. We are now going to start with our meeting. Good morning, honorable members, all the support staff of the Committee of Human Settlement, and also let me welcome the senior management of the Department of Human Settlement, led by the HOD today, and also the main stakeholders are invited from the Soshanguve area. And also let me welcome the councillors. I think we are expecting 3 councillors of this area, or 34, or 35, or 90. Everyone is welcome to the meeting of the Portfolio Committee of Human Settlement of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. We are now moving to the declaration of the venue. I, Alfina Ndlovana, declare Halala Community Hall, Soshanguve, Tshwane Region, as a precinct of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature in terms of Rule 5 subsection, in terms of Rule 56 subsection 2 of the Standing Rules of the Gauteng Legislature, version 5, revision 2, revision 2, read together with section 2, subsection 1 and section 28 of the Powers, Privileges and Immunities of the Parliament of the Provincial Legislature, Act number 4 of 2004. Our beloved stakeholders, the venue has been declared as a precinct of the legislature. In other words, we are in the Gauteng Parliament today. I'm sorry. Njabulo, you are disturbing us in your discussion. We are in a parliament of Gauteng today. We are going to follow the procedures of the parliament in terms of handling the issues which we want to raise. Ke ra hore re ka mo parlamenteng today, a re ka mo halala. He le batla ho utsisa potso ka nako e tlabe re tlo lefa nako, o tlo followa melao ya rona ya parliament. A hona ho letsa melodi, a hona ho shupana ka menwana. We are going to respect a re nyako bana le di issues tsa di order. Re tlisitse parlamente mo lona ya Gauteng together le the department hore ba tle ba kgone ho lefa ditaba tsa kotara ya boraro ya departmente ya tsa dintlo. Ankere bana ba mma? Yes. We have declared it. We are going to work together. We are going to cooperate. We are going to make it at a point that when we leave this area as a portfolio committee, our objective has been achieved. Can we move to agenda point number 3, which is the purpose of the meeting? Honorable members, the senior support staff of the department, the purpose of the meeting today is to get a presentation from the Department of Human Settlement and the Gauteng Partnership Fund on the third quarterly performance report for the 2023-2024 financial year. Furthermore, we will receive the presentation from the department in terms of the status of the projects around Soshanguve, and also as it has been stipulated in a document members, that is the agenda. I'm presenting the agenda for adoption. Any mover, honorable members? Mohale,
Chair, move for the adoption of the agenda.
your member. Really. I was discussing the leadership, yeah, the parliamentary office, or they must do a plan. He said to me that they are going to check for an extension so that they transfer power from that side to this side. Because this side in the hall, we are experiencing a problem. Le right, Viano? Or akekwe? Okay, can you how many minutes? 2 minutes. Barba chencha di tapo fela. Then after that, we will go to agenda point number 6. The HOD will be leading in terms of this. Arba fen 2 minutes fela. Kia ko paliskan kwatela nge. Especially Ke kopa hore re batlo thoma ba le ne ba ile ko ntle ba ka boa. Honorable members, I'm apologizing again on behalf of the team for the delay in terms of the challenge from the technical side. Our meetings are recorded. We cannot proceed if recording is not done. We are now in agenda point number 6. Before the HOD are sent to the stage, I want to inform those that they want to check their status of the housing. There will be table outside for checking. Am I right? So that when we are going to open for the questions, ahona o atoring, I'm been waiting for my house since 1996, 98, 99. We have brought that department with us. As soon as they are here, Colin, you will inform me. Have they arrived? They are outside. Those that they want to go and check, you just stand up and go and check quietly. And then if you experience a challenge, there is Jackie, there is Colin. You will explain to Colin the challenge which you are experiencing outside. I'm not launching you, no, Colin? Yes. That's number 1. Number 2, we are experiencing a problem with regard to the interpreters. They are at Halala. And they've forgotten that the meeting at Halala is starting at 2 o'clock. So we are trying to trace them that they must come back this side because they've been requested that they must start this side first at 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock. When they are done, they go to Halala because the Bella bill is starting at 2 o'clock. I hope you'll accept my apology, but I'm with the department which usually they understand that when we are at the stakeholders meeting, they use 3 or 4 languages in their presentation so that the community, the stakeholders, be able to understand the presentation of the department. Thank you. Can we move to our agenda point number 6, HOD Mbanjwa?
Okay. Dumelang. Lebitso la ka ke Phindile Mbanjwa, the head of Department for Human Settlements. So kasheko re tlo etsa presentation ya performance ya department for quarter 3. Abuti Matsubane will take us through the presentation. We'll try and do it in vernacular, ne? Yeah. And then we'll try and just make sure that we use a bit of vernacular as best as we can so that baduli ba kgone ho tlhaloganya what we are talking about. So without further waste of time, I am going to hand over. Seeing that the translators are not here, is it okay to do it in Gase Soto and a bit of English? All right, okay, so that's what we're going to do. Thank you.
Dumelang. Le kae awa le rena re teng. Ke nna Manamela. I hope ke a utlwagala pila mo. So, ke tlo ira presentation ya Department of Human Settlements. Re bontshe gore how have we performed as a department mo quarter 3 of the financial year. So quarter 3 ke October, November and December. Presentation.
Jackie, is the presentation flighted? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Emanyana,
Thank you.
Emanyana. Members. Oh, the interpreters are there. Okay.
Okay. Department, in the past 3 months, which is October, November, and December, performance ya rona usually re bontsha ka di indicators and targets. So we say we have a number of targets that are planned for the quarter, and then le gore re berekile bjang mo tsona. Se re di achievile mo le ho ka lebella re na le tse 8 which comprise 28%, and then ra partially achieved tse 5 which is 17%. So here bolela ka partial achievement, re bolela ka performance e leng gore not 10, so ke yona ntho re bitsang gore ke partial achievement gore now although mmereko re o irile mara a ra fitlha ko ne re batlo fitlha ko teng mara re fitile 50% mark, so ke tsona tseo. And then tse leng gore a ra fitlha ko 50% ya tsona ebile tse 16 have tried to push on the performance. So gona bjanong where we are standing, we have moved from the 8 record 17, which is 35%, and then the partial achievements tse leng gore re di bitsa di low hanging fruits mo e leng gore we can push and achieve ke tse 14, 29%. So as a department we are trying to push hard for 17 area. So this is what we are doing as a department. So we have those tse leng gore they are not achieved. So I'm going to quickly go through the summary of the presentation. So most likely say re bontsha tse leng gore they have been achieved for the year, and then what you want more, I'm not gonna go through tsona tso tsotlhe. I will just show gore in terms of payment.
Ke kopa, I'm requesting Uraeme because sound I tlhahelle, and at least the interpreters have arrived. Can we distribute the earphones? Can we distribute the earphones? Ke kopa ba ba batlang di earphones se. Le me se matlo ba khono le fa re tlo explain or di bereka. Ba di distribute. Ke bona di makatso wa phone, wa itse o bana le stress wa itse. Eh? Yeah, if you want to use the channel of Sepedi and Setswana, is 3. The channel of isiZulu, Sindebele, 4. Afrikaans is 2. Chivenda, Chitsonga, 5. Those are the channels for those that they are having their earphones. We are now going to proceed. We are now going to proceed. Over to you.
Okay. Thanks, Chair. Okay, so ne ke le mo slide-eng se le mo re bontshang performance ya department gore ke mo kae mo e leng gore we have achieved payment of retire by all means gore ba patele within 30 days in line with the act. So we are doing very well on that one. And then on the global risk, now we have updated the plan. And then, as you know, for the run department, we must have policies. And then we have targeted to develop the policies and then ready develop it as planned. Let's then update already lukise because adi bereki pila. Then we have managed to do that as well. And then okay, yeah, and then le on FLISP, that project, FLISP, where we are awarding the subsidies to those people by Lengwaraba qualify for the RDP houses. We have done well in Lemoteng. And then we also buy land as a department. And then land the eleke lengore raireka and then rahamayona and then land the engwe raireka right develop and then refaba to baba rimbona baba tla go ikagela. Then renale that project and then that indicator ya teng and re targetile re achievile. And then also le bulk infrastructure in hostels for those regions in the hostel, we have assisted them assessment their bulk infrastructure so that we can intervene as a department for those services where they are in need. And then also in informal settlements, we have conducted the feasibility studies and then leading services to those stands that and then also we have complied with the NH BRC requirements that we need to register our projects before we start building those houses. So Leona and then the rental housing disputes, then as a department we intervene and then we have managed to resolve 81 of the 70 disputes. I'm trying to move to the next slide. And then on the next slide, we are talking from our project. So for township-based businesses, we have in this target. So if you look at this, you can see we are not reporting very well. Mara, it's not because we are not doing the work. We are doing the work, but the problem is we are having problem the act that doesn't allow us to set aside no townships. So what we do, we are following the act as it is so that we are not found wanting by the auditors, but no, we are not following the rules and laws. And then also on women, we have achieved 18.13 out of 40%. And then on youth, we are at 8.25 against 20%. And then on people with disabilities and military veterans, we are at 0.2%. And then work opportunities. As a department, we're having housing projects, and then we always get people to assist Batlo Iramole. So the contractors, then they will appoint people to come and work. Mara bothata bjanong ke gore, they do not give us all the information e re batlang, di IDs tsa batho ba ba hirang tse le di contracts tsa bona, so that we can report on the number of jobs that are created. So, but as a department, we are putting measures in place to ensure that we keep that problem. So we have amended their contract so that by refer that information to show the communities that we are really making a dent on job creation and creating work opportunities. And then also, where am I? Okay, I'm on this one. Tse ding tse, ke tlo di jump for the sake of time. On land acquired or rent value. So this is where we are giving communities money to develop the bulk infrastructure, so that hera hadin tloritor no rebale metsi rebale le bulk sewer. So on that, as a department, we have targeted to deliver or to transfer money to municipalities, 82 million, but we only transferred 30 million. But in terms of this target, as at Q4, we have transferred 110 million out of the annual target, 121. So, and we have a claim here, 18 million that we are still considering, and then after payment, we would have achieved that target. And then this one, Greater Alexander. Okay, we have achieved this one now, although in Q3 it was not achieved, but we have done that. And then unblocked projects, we are 24 against the target of 26. We're having challenges with contractors who are not doing their work, so giving us poor performance. But then, and then also in Etwatwa, we have that challenge here, dolomitic stability report that we are still awaiting for, but it's in another region. And then on service side, on this one, we are at 0 against 400. We're having a challenge in Lady Selborne with the contractor who's not delivering according to the terms of contract. And then we have since issued a warning letter to that contractor. So I know you are interested in this one, Lady Selborne. And then on building houses, we are at 1,911 against that target, 2,059. And then even here, we're having challenges. Poor contractor, I don't know what's happening to that thing. Poor contractor performance, and then also we are experiencing challenges, study community protests, whereby the communities will come and protest and block the projects that are on as we are delivering because they are not happy with one thing or another. But yeah, we are doing the work. And then, okay, and then on the other one, okay, this one, the Hoka project, I've spoken to that one. And then I want to speak to title deeds. So on title deeds, we are issuing title deeds to those people with houses, but then usually the process is, Rona as department, are printing the title deeds, the title deeds, rehira the conveyancers, those attorneys, they go through the process, it's our register, those title deeds, and then we issue them out. But then the problem is, contract and say le ya expire, so we have recently appointed a new panel of conveyancers, and then they have started the work, so we will start seeing results in the near future. So, Chair, in the interest of time, I think I will stop here with my presentation. I've provided the summary. Thanks.
Thanks for the presentation. HOD is going to present the questions which have been sent to the department with regard to the third quarterly report, because I want to summarize everything of the department before I take GPF. Questions sent for the same report. That was the third quarter report of the department. The committee sent the questions related to the third quarter to the department so that they should respond and clarify the committee in terms of the issues which we have identified. So they will present those questions and answers, and after that, I'll give the Gauteng Partnership Funds to do their presentation. There is a car GGX 254G. Go and remove your car, it has blocked the road. I hope the earphone is audio assista. Honorable stakeholders, they are assistant, eh? Okay. Bathong, ko kgoneng ko. Ko kgoneng, we have declared this venue as a precinct of the legislature. So if you are coming this side to come and make noise, ke kopa le etswe, because the stakeholders, we have talked to them that this is a precinct of the legislature. So Helena le bua moo, ra le utlwa, you are disturbing our meeting, please. I'm requesting. Over to you, introduce yourself. Read the after that you read the question and the answer, so that the stakeholders should know which questions have the portfolio committee members have asked for the third quarterly report. Thanks, over to you.
Le kae ba bagolo? O vuiwa. Re bua. Ke nna Victor Chikochi from Department of Human Settlements. Ke tla thusa ho bala di questions tse re di receiving from ke emetse fela di appear mo la screening re tla kgona ho di bala ha botse. Thank you. Okay, these are the responses on the proposed questions to the department emanating from the third quarter performance report of 2023-2024 financial year, Program 3, Housing Development. Question number 1, how will the department ensure that they achieve the annual target at the end of the financial year? The department has been working with the NHFC. The department has been working with the NHFC for the delivery of the planned FLISP units, and I can report that the annual target was met. A total of 86 FLISP units were delivered. out of the planned 11 targets. Question number 2, what factors hindered the department from achieving this target as there is a market for this program? The response says the program is demand-driven and the time of application cannot be determined. The overachievement was attributed to more applicants who applied for the program, and the department was able to facilitate more subsidies. Question number 3, the department should provide the portfolio committee with an update following oversight visit that the portfolio committee undertook as part of its FIS at selected inner city hostels. Question number 1 for that 3A, status on Denver hostel regarding illegal mining activities happening there. The department, in responding to the question from the portfolio committee, made a promise that a meeting between the department and the Department of Community Service will be held, and the department submitted the response. The Office of the Premier has established a hostels redevelopment work stream which it uses to oversee and monitor intervention that all GPG departments are doing for the JHB inner city hostels. It is in this platform that the DHS has raised the issue of the Zamazamas. During December 2023, SAPS and ANDF undertook a joint operation to get rid of the Zamazamas and their operations. The market shift operating plant of the Zamazamas was destroyed and their equipment was confiscated. Question 3B, update on the replacement of roof at one of the bent units in one of the hostels. The response says work to replace roof at the hostel is at 50% progress and is proceeding well. 3C, demolishing of the reported shacks that were derailing the start of the project for the replacement of doors, windows, and other activities. The response says no shacks have been demolished so far, but the contractor has proceeded with the replacement of doors, whereas the fixing of broken windows is going well. The contractor will be starting with upper floors in March 2024. Question number 4. What measures are in place to ensure that the contractors that are performing poorly perform as per the signed contract, since they are delaying the allocation of the houses to the rightful beneficiaries? The response from the department says the contracts concluded by and between the department and various contractors made provision for the termination of a non or poor performing contractor. The above legal process is initiated by a letter from the department informing the contractor of their poor performance and requesting rectification of such poor performance within a particular period of time agreed to by the parties. If the poor performing contractor fails to rectify their default performance, then the department terminates the contract. Question number 5. There seems to be a lot of targets that were not planned for in Q3, but end up recording an achievement. The department should elaborate more on this as to how does targets get to be achieved when they were not planned for. The department response says, the department operates in an environment, I don't know whether that has moved. The department operates in an environment where there are too many dependencies on external stakeholders and service providers. This is also compounded by lengthy turnaround times by external stakeholders. The targets are set in line with the expected timeframes for delivery of outputs, taking into consideration the above-mentioned dependencies and turnaround times. For example, number of hectares of land acquired for human settlement development. The department has set a target of 200 hectares to be achieved in the Q4 due to long processes that go into the acquisition of land. It was envisaged that the process will be concluded in the Q4, but process unfolded faster than anticipated for some land parcels, hence delivery was reported. The outstanding delivery will be reported as and when they will be realized. Example number 2, number of informal settlements upgrading plans completed. The department has set an annual target of 10 to be achieved in the fourth quarter to accommodate municipal internal approval processes. The delivery of 2 upgrading plans was due to improved collaboration between the department and municipalities, thus improving the turnaround period for approval. Question number 3, the department should provide a list of the 58 hostels where bulk infrastructure assessments were conducted and further provide a report on the outcomes of those assessments. The response indicates the list of those hostels. Number 1, Bekkersdal, Mohlakeng Mudala, Kagiso, Green, Landman, Wiketlong, Manseville, Sebokeng, Kwamasiza, Peace Heights, Sharpeville, Boipatong, Protea, Van Beek, Stanhope, Soshanguve, Sosville, Mamelodi, Refile, Zitobeni, Anthea, Kwanobuhle, Madala, Helen Joseph, Diepkloof, Lifating, Dobsonville, Dube, Jabulani, Meadowlands, Mapetla, Nansfield, Orlando West, Clover, Masisulu, Park President, Peter Faber, Selkas, Policy Barracks, Mpumelweni, Mtlazeni, Stuha, Dukatole, Davidton, and Kwamanana, Kwesine, Kwatema Hostel, LTA Greenacre, Tokoza Hostel, Vusumuzi Hostel, Home Seekers, Kwamazibuko, Danon, Clover, Ngunis and Sutu, and Watville. Question 7. The department should provide the portfolio committee with the reasons behind the huge expenditure under program 4 and what this means for the program in terms of expenditure for the remaining months of the financial year. Response: during mid-term review process, the HSDG budget was cut by 519 million. Therefore, this program budget was reduced by 36 million, which resulted to an overall budget being reduced from 146 million to 110 million. The budget cut did not consider that there are municipal payments for hostels that were already processed in this program, which resulted in the over-expenditure. However, in the fourth quarter, an expenditure amounting to 40 million was journalized to provincial earmark funding to cater for these municipal payments, and the program is currently not overspending. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for the presentation of the response of the question from the Portfolio Committee. We will now take the presentation of the Gauteng Partnership Funds. Then after that, I will be handing back to the honorable members to ask questions based on the 2 quarterly report and the question. And after the Portfolio Committee members, I'll note the stakeholders who want to ask the questions related to the third quarter report. CEO.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, HOD and colleagues, and members of the public. Dumelang, Ngiyanibingelela. My name is Lindiwe Kwele. I'm the CEO of Gauteng Partnership Fund. Gauteng Partnership Fund is an entity of Gauteng Department of Human Settlement. We are responsible for project lending, where we help emerging developers to develop student accommodation, rental housing stock. We also in the program of capital raising. We also implement projects on behalf of the Department of Human Settlement, responsible for the UISP, responsible for mega projects as well. So basically our existence is to ensure that we respond to the provincial priorities in achieving its objective of an integrated human settlement within the Gauteng City region. I will be presenting our Q3 report as stated by the Chairperson. Thank you. So for the quarter three, we had planned 12 targets. Of these, 8 were achieved, which makes up 66.7%, and 1 was partially achieved, and 3 were not achieved. In terms of the highlights for the quarter, Chair, as I've indicated, we've scored 66.7% for the quarter, and we were able to successfully implement our annual marketing, communication, and stakeholder management plan, and those plans were exceeded. And then we were able to successfully implement our approved human capital plan that was also exceeded. Our change management plan was fully achieved for the quarter, and we continue to strive to support business enterprise, but by ensuring that we pay their invoices within 30 days, and that was also fully achieved. And our successful implementation of our ICT governance plan was also fully achieved for the quarter. Our rand value of loan disbursed for student accommodation was fully achieved for the quarter. And our percentage of projects expenditure spent on GOD-owned SMEs through project implemented target was also fully achieved. And then our enterprise-wide risk management target was fully achieved. We'll also touch on those that were partially achieved and those that were not here. In terms of the percentage of loans collected, we had a target of 85% for the quarter, but we only managed to score 83%. But in terms of our corrective measures, actions that we've put together, Chair, we continue to implement cession of rental income from our developers. We issue breach letters and we engage borrowers to address the arrears, and we do rigorous site visits and meetings with the developers. Site visits are constantly done to monitor the buildings to ensure that the buildings that are supported and funded by the GPF are not dilapidated, because that will have unintended consequences in terms of discouraging tenancy. And then if it needs be, we also do loan account restructuring to support struggling developers. There's one target that we couldn't achieve, and I want to also inform the committee that due to the late submission of the letters of authority for our Board of Trustees, as you know that from the 1st of May, we had new Board of Trustees. And in terms of the Trust Act, they can only do, until they receive letters of authority, they cannot approve new projects. They can only look at the existing trustees, which were only 3, could only deal with issues of preservation. So that also delayed some of the project approval in terms of our pipeline. But we have really put it on an accelerated path. I believe that we will not do that badly by the end of the financial year. But in relation to this particular target, I think the likelihood of us achieving it, Chair, it's one target that I don't think we will achieve. In terms of the number of units completed, the quarter target was 119, and for the quarter we achieved 31, but in terms of our corrective actions that we've put together, our technical team continues to monitor progress on site, and we conduct constant site visits to ensure that construction on site is in accordance with the program schedule. To date, 252 units have been completed against the annual target of 348, but we are confident, Chair, that by the end of the financial year, we will have covered the 98 and we achieve 153. Likewise, Chair, but to date, we've achieved 461 units against the annual target of 746, and the remaining 285, we want to assure the committee that it will be completed by the end of the financial year. On the expenditure reports, Chair, we had a budget of 120 million, and the underspending in the third quarter predominantly refers to the goods and services and capital expenditure. And we approach to the GOD target, as you know, that it's one of the things that we haven't been doing well, especially around the people living with disabilities. But we are beginning to see some slight improvement from the GPF. On the black ownership, we have achieved 41%. People living with disability, the target is 1%. We achieved 0.33%, and on the youth, 8%, and women, 18%. And township spend, we did not do well on this one, Chair. And then in terms of our 33, and the youth 8%, and women 18%, and we achieved 0 on the township. In terms of the challenges that we are dealing with as the GPF, I've indicated, Chair, that we are finding it very difficult to get the GOD service providers in order to improve the current target, but we constantly aggressively advertise on our website and all social media platforms to attract the GOD targeted service providers. We've also been doing road shows. We also participated at the Construction Expo that was facilitated through the Office of the Premier, just to share what we do as the entity of the department. And then the human resource capacity to deliver on the mandate, our action plan is to fill those critical vacancies to capacitate us to deliver on the said mandates. And then in terms of the programs that are implemented on behalf of the department, as you know, chairs, I've indicated in my opening remarks that we do make a project, and the focus is on services site that needs to be completed by the end of the financial year. But we want to assure the committee that by the end of the financial year, we would have completed those 400 services site, Chair. In terms of the top structure, the tag as of the 15th of Jan, we're sitting at 1,098, and we want to assure the committee that we will be the 1,686 top structures will be completed by the end of the financial year. Then on the rapid land release program, in terms of the services side that needs to be completed, as you know that we procured 6,616 party service stands through the public tender process. This was done through 7 different projects. We are done with the phase 1 and phase 2. We are now finalizing the phase 3 process, and the process is now at an bid adjudication, and it should be completed by the end of the financial year. On the UISP, to date, 84 relocations has taken place, with pegging at most informal settlement at an advanced stage, Chair. In the first quarter of the year, 6 upgrading plans were concluded. The remaining 18 will be concluded by the 31st of March, totaling the target of 24 upgrading plans to be achieved in this financial year. I just wanted to give a high-level overview in terms of the phase 1 and phase 2 that I spoke about on the Rapid Land Release Program, Chair. The Impumelelo Extension 4, the installation of electrical reticulation is already underway. 184 stands are fully serviced with water, sewer, roads, stormwater, and electricity, with 266 stands to be completed, that were completed by end of January, Chair. Then on the Urban Kosi Extension 3, all the 764 stands were completed in December 2023. We are awaiting the Section 82 certificate from the municipality. On the Ridgeview Extension 1 and 2, the land was transferred in December, and the developer is finalizing the SLA and design approvals process with the municipality. The Velbotsdal Extension 7, Section 82 of all the services was received, and the site has been handed over, Chair. And then on Elijah Bahai Extension 2, Phase 2B is complete, awaiting the POE for verification. Phase 2C overall completion is sitting at 94%, and Phase 2D overall completion is at 75%. The Droche Havel 251 IQ challenges there were a few challenges that were encountered on site. Construction drawings with new levels were completed in December, Chair, and issued to the contractors. And the civil engineers have indicated that the layout will not change, therefore will not impact the contractor's procurement plan. So the work resumed in January, respectively, Chair. Then in terms of the Impumelelo Extension 5, the site establishment has been cleared. It is completed. Water, sewer, roads, and stormwater reticulation is already underway. And then the GPF project in the city of Tshwane High Level, Chair, we have a Grey Holding LTD, which is a student accommodation project that is already under construction, which will deliver 336 beds to the project, and it's already at 70% completion. And then we have Mapchip Trading, Pty Limited. It's also a student accommodation, and it's already complete. We are just awaiting the occupational certification, Chair, and this will deliver 308 student accommodation beds. Then the Tario Blocks Chair, it's 26 units, rental accommodation project is already under construction and it's at 56% completion. Rama City, it is a mega city, it's currently on hold as there is a legal dispute over the land with the developer and the Community Property Association. So this is the overall performance for the GPF for the Q3 Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, CEO. With the presentation of the third quarterly report of the GPF, HOD, I've missed one part in the presentation of the department on the finances. Was not presented as CFO, HOD. Third quarterly report, the finances were not presented. Marangiri, you know, when you present that, even the finances of the third quarterly should be presented to the committee as well as to the stakeholders. Njabul, why are the stakeholders standing? Where are the chairs? DDG, Nelenya Shaya not presenting the finances.
Thank you, Chair. We actually had prepared the financials, and I noticed when we submitted that they were not included, but I don't know why I didn't ask. I just suspected that maybe there was a request somewhere, but the financials are available. CFO will do it now. Apologies for that.
Thanks, HOD will appreciate it so that the stakeholders should get those finances performance in the third quarter. Njabulu, why are the stakeholders standing? Service provider it is steady to Lotototli.
Good afternoon, Chair and honorable members. Firstly, we apologize for not including it in the presentation. So I'm going to briefly talk to it, Chair, if you allow me. This is the expenditure of the department as at 31st of December 2023, which is the end of the quarter. We projected expenditure for 1.7 billion rand for that quarter alone. The department spent 1.2 billion of that expenditure, which is 70% for the quarter. Overall, we have a 5.9 billion rand budget, Chair. We spent 3.4 billion of it, which is 59% of the expenditure. The program one had spent 533 million, or 71% of its allocated budget of 750 million rand. It mainly related to municipal rates, operating leases, as well as compensation of employees. We also transferred an additional 160 million of the earmarked allocation to HDA. This is to assist them with the sanitation program, but it's limited funding. Program 2 spent 14 million, or 62% of its total budget, and that's purely for compensation. For the period ending review, Program 3 spent 2.7 billion, or 54% of its total budget. This is the program that holds both conditional grants and where most of our funding is allocated. The low spending was because of slow approvals by municipalities, a lot of project disruptions encountered, especially business forums, and some poor contractor performance which we had to manage. For Program 4, the department spent 227 million, but it overspent by 14% of that program's budget, but that sets itself correctly in Quarter 4, Chairperson. In terms of our earmarked, we had a budget of 453 million. At the end of the quarter, we spent 60% of that budget, which is 268 million. Predominantly, most of the funding went towards sanitation, as well as paying for municipal services. In terms of the HSDG conditional grant itself, the total budget is 3.6 billion. This is taking into consideration the 500 million cut that we received. The department spent 2.3 billion of that budget, which is 66% overall on HSDG. ISUPG Chair, we've got a 1 billion rand budget, but we only spent 318 million of that budget, which is only 29%. The challenge, Chair, is that we submitted the adjusted budget to National in line with the bulk services that we wanted to pay for, but unfortunately, we only received approval at the end of January, which then only started allowing us to make payments. So it's not that this is a problematic grant, but this grant will be spent in full on the basis of the new approval. EPWP, we had 9.9 million rand for the grant. At the end of the third quarter, we spent 8 million, which is 82%, but we'll spend the balance of that 1.8 million by the end of the financial year. Chair, I'm not going to go into too much detail. As a department, we don't generate any revenue. For the overall, we've collected just over R1 million in revenue, and that's predominantly from the interest on the land sales that we've achieved. In terms of our payment, we've reached 100% on 30 days and 95% on 15 days, as well as 90% on 10 days. So there's great improvement on the payment from the department overall. Our accruals have also been reduced to 317 million, but we maintain that for the end of the third quarter, you will have more accruals because the books close on the 16th of December and the banks also close, Treasury closes the banks at that time. So you do have a lot of accruals that accumulate then. In terms of our fruitless and wasteful expenditure, it's now sitting at 718 million. Bulk of that relates to our CWIP write-off, our capital works in progress, in order to remove the qualification. Our irregular expenditure, we opened up at 10.5 billion, but it's now sitting at 9.3. So there's a lot of condonements that we're working with Treasury, or we're submitting to Treasury to finalize. Thank you, Chair. I'll pause there now on the expenditure report.
Thank you, CFO, for the presentation of the expenditure related to the third quarterly report. Honorable members, those are the three presentations, including the questions which you have sent to the department. Can I note the hands for questions in terms of the point of clarifications? Member Schneemann? Yes, Member Schneemann?
No, thanks very much, Chair. And also thank you very much to the department for the presentations and GPF as well. I think there's just one area that I want to zoom in onto, and that is the achievement and non-achievement of targets, as well as the GOD targets. So let me start with the GOD targets. I think it is worrying, and it is a serious concern, that quarter after quarter, the department just does not seem to be able to meet its targets in terms of spend directed towards women, youth, persons with disabilities, and other designated groups. And the worry that one has, Chair, is that certainly since I've been part of this portfolio committee, going back to 2020, I don't recall any quarter where all of these targets have been met. And I think it has to be a concern. We're at the end of our term. And I think I'm not sure what the issue is, but there just doesn't seem to be an ability to meet these targets. And I think we have to say it is a concern. And maybe I know we've previously asked for explanations. I mean, some of the responses we hear are that they can't find people with disabilities, etc. I'm very worried, very, very worried. I would have thought by now we would have seen progress and that we would have been meeting these targets. These are clear targets of government, and I don't understand. Secondly, the second area that I want to focus on, Chair, is just the overall performance in quarter 3. So in quarter 3, the department has managed to meet or achieve 28% of its targets. And 55% of targets have not been achieved. And that's also a worry. And I think it's been a reoccurring trend generally, that the majority of targets, I'm not saying always, but generally, are not being achieved. And I don't think it's a serious concern. And again, one would have thought that by this stage now, would have been achieving targets. So I have to raise it, Chair, as a concern. I think we really need to be advised by the department. What is the plan? What is the plan to meet its targets? What is its plan to meet these GOD targets? You know, if I can just say this, there are many, many young people, there are many women, and many persons with disabilities amongst, as well as the other designated groups, that would love to have an opportunity to be part of the human settlements programs. But we just don't seem to be able to do it. And I think that's it. If I have to just say this, Chair, I mean, housing projects that we've seen, I think we can honestly say we're seeing better and better and better quality houses. But on this particular aspect, I must say I'm left disappointed. This is the last time that we're going to deal with the quarterly performance report of the department. And one, as I say, I really would have hoped that by now we would have seen some improvement, and we're not. And I must say that as my time comes to the end in this committee, together with others here, it's one area of disappointment. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Member Schneeman. Member Mohale?
No, thank you very much, Chair. I think Member Schneeman has covered me very well on the issue of people with disabilities. And us, as public reps, as we go to communities, we also meet organized groups of people with disabilities. And what they are telling us is not what we are getting from department, that they've got people who are ready and who really qualifies for a lot of services that they can render for the department. And it is not only for this term. I think it is for all these years that we have been trying to accommodate people with disabilities. It has been going on and on for all the years. And yeah, it's just unfortunate that our term has come to an end and we can't even make follow-ups on whether whether what the department is saying will be implemented. But I also understand the reason behind the issue of spending on township on townships. And I just hope that going forward, or after the signing of the bill, the implementation of the bill, it will make things better for the department but what I don't hear is what the department, and I would like to hear that, what is it that the department is doing into preparing for the township service providers or suppliers to start to assist them so that when time comes, then they comply with what is will be requested from them, or whether we will wait for that particular time and then start again and say no, they don't qualify. I think it is time that we prepare them so that they can be able to also participate in the economy of the province. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Member Mohale. Member Tong?
Thank you, Chair. I just want to know about the infrastructure assessment were conducted on the 58 hostels. Can the department please elaborate what was conducted? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Member Tong. HOD, taking from what Member Tong have said now, when the question was sent to the department with regard to the 58 hostels, for the names and the areas assessment, because in the response which the department sent to the committee, that response only shows the names of the hostel in terms of the corridors, but we don't have the outcomes. When you say Soshanguve, Mamelodi, when you say Kalinen, Refilwe, Kagiso, what were the findings and what is the proposal of the department based on that assessment? I think the answer is incomplete, and then we will appreciate, because some of the people, some of the stakeholders who are here, HOD, and the DDGs, especially the Hot 35, is where there is a hostel, which is recognized by the city, and where there was bulk services by the province. We will appreciate the response. Then the second thing, in your response with regards to the meeting with the community safety, you know, CFO, I'm a little bit skeptical. After the meeting with the community safety, did the department send the monitoring and evaluation group to go and check in that hostel where we were complaining that there are zamazamas, there are wara? Was there a further evaluation, and what are the findings? And if there is any progress, you will commit yourself here today, and we'll go on Wednesday, and remember Schneeman and member Mahal. We'll go to check whether those zamazamas are still there. Lastly, if my memory serves me correct, I think it was the first term performance report where we have raised the issue of GOD. And the response which we got from the department, there was this conducted by the department with regard to people living with disability. whether I'm calling people, but nothing for us without us. Can we be briefed in terms of the outcome of the workshop? Whether was there any improvement from the side of the GOD after workshopping persons with disability? I remember even as the CEO, in terms of how are they addressing the issue of the GOD. You see, it's a record. So, and immediately if you go to the public meeting, you raise one thing several times. People become discouraged that there is no progress in terms of achieving the target of GOD. The response from the department on the issues which have been raised by the members. HOD, do we have any elevated priorities? Can we get the progress report in terms of those elevated priorities? Because it's very important, we are nearing the term. And when we go and do our political work, this is a multi-party, angithi? When we go and do our political work with regard to the issues of human settlement, we need to highlight some of the things which the Premier have promised the society that these are elevated priorities which the department need to achieve by the end of this quarter and this by the end of this term. Over to you, HOD and your team.
Thank you, Chairperson and members for the questions. So I'm going to start with the first question that was asked by Member Schneemann. We're going to answer that question in two parts. The first part is going to relate to general achievement of targets, and then the second part will relate to the achievement or non-achievement of the targets related to the designated groups. So when we talk about designated groups, we're talking about women, youth,
HOD,
and...
can you wait? I see the hand. What is the hand for?
They want to see me. They can't hear me.
I don't hear you. Nkere o tlile late ngwana ko hae. Ema pele re itse re ka mo parlamenteng re starta first ka di member. I've explained when the meeting start ngwanetso ngwana kgomo. Over to you, HOD.
Is it fine?
Yeah, it's fine. Proceed.
All right. I hope la utlwa ka mamorao. I'm getting feedback now, but I hope you can hear me at the back. So like I was saying, so we'll answer the question in two parts. The first part will deal with just general performance in terms of achievement and non-achievement of targets. And then I'll hand over to the CFO to deal specifically with the achievement or non-achievement of the targets related to the designated groups. So I just want to give you an overview of where we are with the performance against the APP. So the department has gone on workshops because we acknowledge the fact that we've had difficulties in achieving our targets as set in the APP. So Ntweri relaying is that we have gone away as a department together with the senior managers. We went through the APP as it stands. We wanted to check whether the APP is relevant to the work that we are supposed to be doing. We also wanted to check whether the targets that we have in the APP, whether some of those still have the same impact that is desired or not. That exercise was only completed now in January and will be reported at the end of the fourth quarter. However, just to speak a little bit about it, the outcome of that process really has been that we have managed to drop some of the non-impactful targets that are sitting on the APP that makes the performance of the department look dismal. In that regard, we have taken off what is deemed to be operational, because what informs those red colors and the green colors and the yellow colors really is how we report against the achievements and the non-achievements of the targets that are set in the APP. So we have taken off anything and everything that is supposed to be work that the department must do in any event, and we've put it in the operational plan. Also, what we've done in terms of the performance is that we are now at a point where, in terms of monitoring, I hold almost weekly sessions together with the team and providing support. There's been changes also in respect of how we do the monitoring and evaluation of the projects. There's a lot of focus that we are now placing on the work that is work in progress, which is the areas that are in yellow. Also, if you do a comparison between this quarter in this current year, which is 2024, and quarter 3 of the last financial year, you will note that there has been an improvement in terms of the target achievement by the department. It is work in progress. It has been a difficult area to try and address in the department. We also acknowledge the fact that we've got about 12 targets, which are sector targets, some of which can never be achieved, but we are forced to report against those. So we will never get to a point where we are 100%, but I want to assure the committee that there is a lot of work that the department is doing to try and address the areas that appear as red. And then just on the issue of designated targets, maybe just to give a little bit of an intro, we specifically now in quarter 4, the department conceptualized a program. It was a, what do I call it? It was a workshop. What was it? A workshop or, no, not the workshop, the Rea Aha Moho. It was an expo. So the department held an expo early this month. And the expo really was targeting all of the small and emerging, well, I don't want to say contractors because it's people from all walks of life and all sorts of disciplines. But Rea Aha Moho really was an expo to invite anybody and anyone who is aspiring to do business with the Gauteng provincial government in the space of construction. And we invited everybody, including designated groups, which included web database is going to be one that we are trying to use to procure from. And Chair, at this point, the database is being cleaned up. We are not sure at this point. I can't give you for certain a guarantee how many people we have from each and every region. But really the important aspect of that is that we are really trying to reach out to those communities, and we are trying to reach out to those persons that have the ability to do work with government. Also, what we have introduced is that we have introduced the workshops that the member was talking about. So following the development of the database, we followed by holding the workshops with those groups, because we know that a lot of them are not able to complete a tender document, for example. They're not able to compete because they've got something that is lacking in the way that they are structured. So what we've tried to do is that we are holding these workshops, and the ones that have happened are not once off. We are trying to provide support so that le kgono tlatsa tender document, ba kgono le thusa ka hore your compliance documents must be in place, ba kgono le thusa ka all of the compliance issues that you need to have addressed in order for you to qualify to do work with government. Further to that, 3 years ago, we tried to establish a database for the small emerging contractors. And really that was targeted to addressing the very same issue. That database that we wanted to establish about 3 years ago, unfortunately was declined by Treasury. I asked maybe more Baduli Baleng Kamorumung, if you want to do business with government, how many of you comply? A lot of you don't comply, I get. So the intention was to establish that database so that we can provide the necessary support to you. But since that was declined, we are now taking up the initiative again in this current financial year to continue to try and reach out to those communities by establishing yet another database. We cannot do it without a database because the regulatory framework will not allow us to do so. The challenges also in terms of achieving those targets have related to the fact that the nature of the work that we do as a department, it doesn't make business sense. I need to give you at least 50 houses for you to do. A lot of you, because you don't qualify to do 50 houses, what does it mean? when a tender is issued for people to come and join our panels, a lot of you will not qualify. So what we are trying to do is that we are looking at the contractual conditions also, so that the big contractors that get the jobs, the database that we are establishing of people that don't have the necessary experience to be able to undertake the work. So I think with that said, I've answered a lot in terms of your question, Member Schneeman. And then I'm gonna hand over to DDG Pumzile to answer the next question. And then the last question, I think Shingai will take or DDG will take. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, good morning. I'm going to respond on the questionnaire hostels. Chairperson, I think the department misunderstood your written question that was asking for the actual outcome of the bulk assessment. I will touch on the outcome briefly, especially for the Soshanguve hostel, which is basically suggesting what can be done and how it should be prioritized. But just in summary, the bulk assessment project was firstly to assess capacity of bulk. We'll remember hore di hostels tse kaofela ke tsa kgale and go dula batho ba bangata. Ka mo hara di hostel le ka mo ntle go na le di mekhukhu e se developile. So in order for us to really develop, tshwantse re check sewer le metsi le electricity, hore are there still enough, ha re aga new houses, will they be able to connect it? So re entse assessment ya capacity of bulk, and the result ya ene ke bua ka hostel ya mo Soshanguve fela for now. Result, Chairperson, we need to upgrade bulk, electricity, sewer, and water. The second thing, and a recheck and a assessment, a socio-economic assessment, yabatu li enumeration. So recount about badulanka modi hostel, li disarround, li mikukwelling around to make sure who rehari planner who aha replanela batu babaikai. And that assessment, refile the numbers, tabatuba more hostel. It's around 458, and then, but what is strange was Mikuku, informal settlement ailing around Kibatuba 811. So Wabona Horibatuba Huleti outside of the hostel, but expanding out of the hostel. So the housing response plan, it's once a catered to buy 1,269. The third exercise in the assessment, Chair, was looking for vacant land next to, in and around the hostels. Because in all our hostels in Gauteng, just like the example I've given, there are far more people living in there than what the buildings were planned for. So for Soshanguve, we had identified 4 portions of land. Radi assessor who wanna will they be suitable for development. Out of the 4, the assessment has resulted who 2 of those parcels of land have been identified for further development. So what's going to happen, retrot developer on the land currently, and then re-add a lady pieces of land tepedi. From the initial feasibility assessment, the 3 portions of land did refer, I think 1,600 units, meaning tlabanali excess nyana for other people of around, what would be the excess, around 300 extra units. But anyway, Kauri Malapa Akula all the time, I think by the time refits, other people from the hostels will be able to take out the excess. But that was just the housing response plan, the initial phase after the assessment, just as a suggestion to the department, what can we do? Resansane retlo prioritizer, rebatle the budget, re-engage the stakeholders, which we haven't done, especially Hostelia Soshanguve, it belongs to the city of Tshwane, I belong in Coronako province. So Tshwane Redumelana, the city of Tshwane, hore, Rietsang, Rikenya Bukai, Libona Bakenya Bukai, ba contributor Juang. But also, and most importantly, Tshwane Rehutle Ritle the residents, Zamo Hostel, the key stakeholder, Ritlo Buisana Liluna, really fair, a proper report to Rutlo Etzahalang. That would be on the hostels assessment, but Chair, we will submit the supplementary report to yourselves. And then there was another question which was about elevated priorities. If the department is participating in elevated priorities, I think we are participating in TISH, the Premier's Townships, Informal Settlements and Hostels program. And under Tish, where more Tshwane participate under hostels. And then informal settlements, tsa mo Tshwane, di develop ki masipala, ki bona ba leng responsible to provide interim services by the upgrade. But response ya mo Tshwane tla ba di informal settlements li the hostel. Thank you very much, Chair. Can I hand over to CFO to oh, are you done? Okay. Thanks, Chair. I think we've covered the questions.
Thank you. Are you done, HOD?
Yes, Chair, that's fine. We are done.
Honorable members, that is the response from the department. I think some of the things we'll discuss as a committee. I'm now going to note the hands from the members of the community and the stakeholders. Your question must be related to the third quarter performance report. And other things, they are still coming. Yes. Can I know the hands? One, this side. Any other hands? Two, three. Yes, in that order.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Wait. What the introducer, so that you should know Rarabolele Robot, yeah, from where?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Peter Makwarela. I reside in Ward 32, under Ward 32. I noted in your introduction that you have only invited people from Ward 34, 35, and 19. But on the basis of being a stakeholder and also observing when the department is reporting back to the portfolio committee, and also when I looked into the booklet that we were given when we were signing, I noted the competence of your committee, including inquire and make recommendations about any aspect of the department. So I felt I'm at the right place. I should further indicate that I'm very honored to sit and participate in this parliament for the first time in my life. As you indicated that this hall is no longer Halala, but it's the provincial parliament, legislature. Now, on the basis of the reports, the first presentation indicated that with regard to bulk services, the target was 82 million, and they were only able to transfer 32 million. Now, it means that when we look back, the first lap, second lap, and at the end of the third lap, only 32 million has been transferred. Now, the presenter was saying that we are still looking into the third lap, which is the final lap, but you indicate that we should only look at the past. Now, my concern, and a great concern, is that in this municipality, when we raise our issues, we are told that there's no funding, there's no money. And during the last session of the council, Tshwane, there were reports that money has been sent back. So now, I don't know if the money that if the department has transferred the 32 million also is the money that went to the Tshwane municipality. And the money that the Tshwane municipality is retaining It's coming back, they said to Treasury, so I don't know whether on its way to Treasury it will come back through the provincial government. And now it's a great concern because through the third lapse, if only 32 million was transferred and 50 million will never be transferred in the last lap. Now, it's a great concern because we are told that there's no money, there's no money, there's no money. Now, Madam Chair, when I came here and looked into the booklet, I tried to understand the role of the department, and it says human settlement. Now, it means as humans, South African citizens, wherever we reside, is the responsibility of the 3 tiers of government. Now, when we approach the first gate to where we live, we are told that we are informal. We need to be formalized. But the department here, it doesn't say the Department of Informal Settlement and Formal Settlement. Maybe these are some of the things that you may want to consider as we move forward. Then the second issue, the first presenter, I think it may be due to the questions that have been submitted by the members of Parliament, because in his presentation, he remarked that I know you are not concerned with cell phones. So, but he's not addressing us as stakeholders, he's addressing the portfolio committee. But as stakeholders, because it's our money, tax money, we are concerned. What are the issues regarding cell phones? We would like to know whether there's misuse or they are not needed, etc. So I won't say much more because there's no report on that. Lastly, the projects. You indicated, Madam Chair, that as the department, they must look and make an assessment, because in Soshanguve, the only issue that the department feels like is of our concern is the hostels, and which has been triggered, maybe the squatters around or the zamazamas, and we have problems here. Basic services, water, electricity, roads. That's why when I started...
Those are local government issues.
I understand, Madam Chair. That's why I'm saying local government, or there are 3 tiers of government: national, provincial, and local. So if Madam Chair is saying those are local, it means when we go to the Tshwane municipality and they say there's no money, we must say, okay, no, it's fine. There's no water, no, that's fine. So it means whatever the local government is saying, then we should be satisfied. We thought that the department, the municipality has got an MEC for human settlement, provincial level, which is the big brother, I think, and then national government. So I am raising these things so that as you listen to us, and when you make whatever recommendations, you should understand our concerns. And I'm also happy that you chose to come and engage with the department in our presence. And it could be repeated, because the last speaker says the future developmental programs in Soshanguve or in Tshwane is about hostels. And they are going to look for funding, which means that the money will be improving the hostels. Maybe those squatters around should also be moved into the hostels, whereas we, outside, we have got greater concerns of basic, human basic services. Thank you, Madam.
Ra leboha Principal. Number 2.
Dumela modulasetulo. Wa bua mfa ke Sam Dikgatlong from ke tswa ke le mo Soshanguve. Modulasetulo o na le tlhobaboroko as re utlwile report
Sam Wortman,
Ward 35. Tlhobaboroko ya rona mo Soshanguve as report re e utlwile ka hostel and the surroundings. Batho ba rona ba fela pelo mo goreng di services di tlaleng. Now, ha re botsisa some responsibilities di tshwanetse re di address le the city of Tshwane, others they are linked with the province. Now, when we go to the city of Tshwane, the city refers us to the province, meaning housing. Now, I will indicate where exactly. Now, the cry was that when is the area surrounding the hostels is going to be electrified. Then now we had to invite even the city to come and do their own assessment in the surrounding area. And then the city said, if us as the city, if we can have the title deed of that area, we can fast track the services in that area as we are due bound to do the services. Now, I heard the latter speaker said everything around, most of the things around in here, the city of Tshwane are in charge. Now, I would want to make a plea to the department. If two bulls are fighting, the grass is the one that is going to suffer most. In these guys now, we are the grass, we are the ones who are suffering. And then, because why? The city says the province says the city. Madam Chair, can you assist us? Can you fast track the issuing of the title deed? Can you hand it to the city of Tshwane so that the city of Tshwane can fast track the lighting of that area around Ento? And that will assist us in alleviating the crime that is happening there. Now, why we need lights, I think you know why we should have those services, in particular electricity. We cannot be buying grocery one by one as if we are millionaires or billionaires. With the title deed that you are in possession with, so that they fast track to deliver those lights to us, then we will be happy. We will be in position also as to can endorse your report. But now the report, it sounds as if it's good, but to us literally, it doesn't sound nice. We are not happy with that report because we don't see any implementation because we are staying in there. Now, the other thing is on the issues of title deeds. Now, as per the residents, I wanted to check, Madam Chairperson, that we had a program before that there will be, what do we call, these attorneys to transfer. The conveyancers are allocated to do whatever the transferring. But there were situations, if you can remember, on issues of RDPs. Now, there were people who sold, and whoever, those who were in need of accommodation, they had to buy because they were pressure, not heavy. This thing of saying land is key, those who want to build themselves, let them come, it does not exist in Tshwane. The stands are owned by private owners, and now they sell the stands with, I don't know these prices, how can I say, are they, just ununderstandable prices. Now, if what you are saying as the department that those who are willing to build for themselves, we have a plan to give them land, can we see that being implemented so that people, but we already chelete, babato aha, marke aha biang, kisna title deed ya a specific land. I need to be given the land given the papers, then ke kgone go tlo aga, ke le assist go develop the area. As you said, we need to assist each other. And on that one, I thank you, Comrade Chair.
Ke a leboga Sam, ke kopa ke mo referela mo mang Sam a kgona go lefa lebitso la area, DDG or HOD, koma, DDG Phumzile. Sam, o bua le nna bjana o setse o jikile. Ke ile ke nyaka go bitsa di-order nkere. I'm referring you to DDG Phumzile, the one who was responding with regard to the area so that a kgone go ngwala dilo kaofela, ne? Number 3.
Ashe ke nna Thomas Monyoko from Ward 90, ko Soshanguve. Chairperson, re na re lapile ka di hearing tse irahala every year ka di election. Always ha ila ta di election la tla lira di hearing le tshepisa batho dilo a fetsa le diri. Le tlile ko kopanong kwa before local election la tshepisa hore le tlo formalize di squatter camp. Azang la formalize. Auna service delivery eselela ira go di squatter camping. Not even one. Changing spot a shile. Elata more than 10 years ele mula entse hona mula. Renartha Corona Square since 2019 re squatile. Not even one official sale atla are otlo address or do something. The only people ba le ba sendileng ke batho ba re ba tlo re thuela mikhukhu. Rena re lapile ka lena no ke di vote le nyaka di vote le tlile go community lokisetsang batho before di vote formalizing di squatter camp tso tla Soshanguve before batho ba vote. Why batho tshwantse ba vote le ba tshepise and then ba sno vote a le ba irele next. So rena re lapile as community. O eme mo ke Thomas I'm a resident of squatter camp. Peine ke utlwa ga e utlwa ena chairperson. Hepula ena you are not there. O ntse go luxury house ya go Santene kwa. A o itse re iralang kwa. You are tired, you are sick and tired. And next time, chairperson, ka bona go etso hore date of next meeting. Tsia meeting yo o isa go extension 7 go changing spot o utlwa dilo tsa batho o ba lebelletse o sa tshwara meeting go di close door go di holong isa mi meeting me so go groundong go community go squatter campaign go hostel so that everyone a kgone utlwa. You are the members of legislature, fine. Lenna Santene, a witse selo ga squatter camp. No hanga ra tsamaya o mpantsha marikana go juguleng. O ga sushubi, but o tshwere report o e bala. O ka bala ntho sa itseng chairperson. How can you read something you don't know? You must go there go marikana. O ba butsise hore ka bona ra ona mabone. Vele o bona re ha ona pala ya mabone. O ga se bale hore ha ona mabone. You don't know. If ku butse hore marikana go gae, you don't even know. Cause o tla centurion ba rumile from legislature o tlemo o tlo re address.
Raleboha Thomas, Mara, you need to differentiate between the portfolio committee. Ke ko parle skang haola ne? Ke ko parle skang haola ne? A ke nne Santene ke nna Mamelodi. Ene ke nna ko motseng ko Mamelodi. Ke ko parle skang haola. We are the portfolio committee of the human settlement. Every quarter, re bana le di meeting tsa ho fa feedback to the community in terms of the performance of the department. Re rotate the entire province. Arete di election, we have been rotating. You can go to Amanskral, they'll tell you that human settlement was here. You can go to Mamelodi, they'll tell you. You can go to Ekurhuleni, they'll tell you. You can go to Joburg, they'll tell you. Kona lady, human settlement was here. You can go to Sidiben, they'll tell you. You can go to Western, they'll tell you Kokagis. Arete ka di election, we are here to give the community the feedback. And we are here to respond on the issues which were raised by other community members. Bagay ba le Thabong hostels. Bagay ba le Thabong. Ntate Mthembu kae? The le Thabong hostel people who are staying more central hostel. They sent a petition to us. They requested a meeting with us. Councillor Wanashiwa 35 cc. 34, sorry. Councillor 34 ash. We are not coming to the community, to the public during the election, Thabo. And Thomas, sometimes li beleng bana ba heso. Monwana ho shupa emeng omong we di shupile. Can we get HOD? Can we get a response on the issues which have been raised? I think Sam, order please. Order, comrades. No, I withdraw that word. Yeah. HOD, can you respond to what Principal have said with regard to Makwarela, with regard to the issues which have raised? I think Sam Sahobadi, you have got a response in terms of the area. And Thabo, Lekimangi, Thomas, I'll talk to Councillor Chilwan to arrange a meeting that side with the city that side and invite us that side. Over to you.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'll quickly respond to the question from the principal on the transfer. So the money that you saw reflected there was not a transfer to the city of Tshwane. It's a transfer that was going to the West Rand municipalities. However, the city of Tshwane is responsible for their own bulk infrastructure. They receive the Urban Settlements Development Grant from the National Department of Human Settlements for all bulk related and upgrades. I think there was another question. Our report here is not only on the hostels today. I think there's another item that is coming on housing projects that are happening in Soshanguve. So the department is not only concentrating on hostels more, Soshanguve, Ritlotola presentation here, the housing projects selling come. And then Chairperson Kitla, probably the gentleman on as you have directed. Thank you.
Thank you, DDG. Member Mohali, we want to say something, but I think the community must be aware that formalization is the responsibility of the city. That is why I'm saying that I'll request Councillor Chilwan to arrange a meeting so that by explaining formalization, by explaining the reason of not formalizing that area. That area will allow Thomas Kiaisiba Manaka. Kiaisiba. Member Mohale?
No, thank you very much, Chair. Ntwe nekibata we explaining. And I want to show Thomas bobotlhe ba papata matsogo gore rona di visit tsa rona ha e be di visit fela. Whatever tse le di raisang re di take up with the relevant departments. And all the issues, Tommy, so di reeling. That is why Chair Ari let the councillor abitse a meeting kwale and I invite. Nare amoko gotle because rena le batho. Are invited so that go tlo clarify dilo tse ntši le kgone understand gore gantlentle ke bo mang ba ba sa lefeng di services wa bona re thusaneng re le bo botlhe ra utlwisisana ba gaetso because sometimes I understand fully your frustrations gore HOD whenever we go to communities ke government and they are not wrong. Whether the principal, Makwarara, whether ki national or ki ing, but to banyaka tuso from government, period. So that is why re kemiseditse gore together le councillor on all those issues, but le masipala wa Tshwane, mara they can also invite us. Gore tle tle re utlwe, re thusane le lona gore ba responda bjang mo all those issues that were raised by Thomas. Ke a leboga, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable members, we now move to the presentation which need to be coupled. The status of the projects around Soshanguve. I think it's either you take it from Tshwane, you come back to Soshanguve, and also highlighted the last part, yeah, Australia more 35. I don't know who's going to do it, HOD? Okay, hostele e ilenya city, kia 35. Ya 34 is still in the process. Angere ke ela elengwali? Yes. Ya 34 kia petition. Angere? The 34 group, ke mang a le leading today? Can you get mang? Huh? Okay. Over to you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, and good afternoon to the Chairperson and honorable members. Afternoon to the Head of Department and colleagues from the department, and afternoon to the community members. My name is Dolly Moerane Bacela. I am the acting regional head from the department responsible for projects in the Tshwane region. Sorry, he's just checking if if they can flight the presentation on the screens. Maybe I must wait. Can I proceed?
Can proceed,
Okay.
Dolly.
All right. Thank you.
Is the presentation flighted?
Okay, thank you, Chair. So, Chair, as Tshwane Region from the department, we, in terms of our overall allocation, our targets for stands is 127. These are projects where we are doing the implementation of water, sewer, and access roads. So the target for the financial year is 127 stands. And then for houses, overall target, it's 407. And in terms of current performance, on the 127 stands, we are overperforming. We have 174 stands that are already at 90% completion. We have received a draft practical completion certificate for these 174 stands. So we should be able to report by the end of the financial year, which is on the 31st of March. And then in terms of our houses, as I've said, our target is 407, and overall current achievement is at 303 houses That's the overview of projects that we're implementing in the region as a whole, Chairperson. So in terms of projects that are in the Soshanguve area, we have 4 projects that are under implementation. There's different categories, I will talk to those. But those that are under implementation, we have Soshanguve MM, there is a contractor on site. I will report on the performance of the contractor. We had a contractor in Soshanguve plot 67. We had a contractor in Soshanguve IA and NN. We are expecting a contractor in Soshanguve 1, extension 1, extension 2, and extension 3. In terms of the performance of these projects that I've just mentioned, Chairperson, in Soshanguve MM, the contractor is appointed to complete houses that were left incomplete by a previous contractor, and also to construct new houses, 150 of those. So the contractor has started with the incomplete houses, and to date has delivered 31 of those. In Soshanguve IA and NN, the contractor has now since left the site, but in this current financial year, they have completed 32 houses. In Soshanguve Extension 1, 2, and 3, the project has not yet started. The anticipated date to hand over the site is on the 8th of March, 2024, meaning next week, Friday, houses, but is also now out of sight. So in total of the targets that were allocated in Soshanguve, we had a target of 124, and current delivery is 116. We have a balance of about 8 to meet our target in this area, and we're looking at the Soshanguve MM project to deliver the difference so that we can meet our target for the financial year. Chairperson, we also have projects that are on the pipeline that will start as of the 1st of April, 2024, in the new financial year. For this project are done. By the 1st of April, as I've indicated, the contractor should be able to take site. Also, is Social 2024. We experienced a few challenges, especially in terms of availability of qualifying beneficiaries on our systems. So what we are doing on these projects where the contractors have already left site, we going back on doing an audit, if I can put it that way, beneficiary audit, so that the next phase of appointment, we have already confirmed beneficiaries in those areas. Chair, there's also about 4 projects, it's not part of the presentation, my apologies for that, where we are doing e-assessment on these incomplete houses. It is Soshanguve Soshanguve TT, Soshanguve Extension 4, Extension 5, Extension 6, and Extension 7, and also school sites, color assessments, and the quantities, so that when we appoint a contractor, we know exactly what is the scope for those contractors in order to complete those houses. We are not implementing the Soshanguve hostels project, Chair, I think has already been mentioned by the DDG. The city of Tshwane should be the responsibility of the city of Tshwane. Thank you, Chair. That's the end of my report.
Thank you for the presentation of the projects which are around Soshanguve. I thought you'll even give the broader projects of Tshwane because we are in Tshwane. On the 12th, we will be at Ekurhuleni, but we will be specifically in Germiston. So I thought that, I think what we have requested HOD, that all the projects which are done by the human settlement in Tshwane, then we zoom back to Soshanguve because we'll be at Soshanguve. But even the department didn't do it, we'll request that to be sent to the senior admin of the portfolio committee for recording purpose. Yeah, emanyana buteka mo. With regard to DDG Pumzile, can you come and explain the issue of the Ward 35 hostel before you leave? I see that you are packing your bag before you leave. DDG? DG, you can proceed to scale and I'm handling something.
Okay, thanks, Chair. I think it was part of the presentation. Best hostel yase Soshanguve, responsibility yayo City of Tshwane. And it's in a sense, the only thing I see is the daily bulk assessment, most City of Tshwane. But Resebetali the cities, like the gentleman has said, through the IGR structures. So Ritlo City of Tshwane, li halietsa meeting o chairperson abuaka yona batle present about what they are doing in the Soshanguve hostel. Thanks, Chair.
Okay, thanks. We also invited the City of Tshwane for our meeting. Usually when we go to any corridor, as the Human Settlement Portfolio Committee, we are requesting the municipality through the MMC or to be part of us. Because there are certain things usually when the community asks them, we are unable to give the response because those issues belong to the City of Tshwane. And sometimes we even send, if they are not there, we also send those issues which are raised by the member of the public with regard to the City of Tshwane so that they respond to the committee and we send the response to the team leader. That is why usually we are working with stakeholders who are having team leaders. If team leaders are not there, the councillor of the area, we are providing them with the answer, with the answers, which are questions during the public meeting. Those are the projects. The reason for us to request the department to present the projects which are done in Soshanguve. We got a question from the PCO of Soshanguve that during their meetings, there are questions which are asked that how many projects are done in Soshanguve and why do we still have outstanding houses which are not yet completed. Now, though that is the report from the department, I'll note 2, 3 hands so that we get the questions, and if the department cannot respond, we will send the response. Can I know the questions? Semeba attendant. Can I know the hands? 1, 2, 3.
Jumela, Kitidi Murudu from Ward 29. Nakinale question nega project there extension 19. Murudu. Can I question ka project ya extension 19? Cause ke rena ba bang ba re tshwantse re allocate-iwe. Problem ya ka ke A1 ka Department of Housing. How fitlha mo office mola o yo nyaka information o botsisa. Batho ba ba berekang ka mola a ba re thusi. O kgono ya for 3 days o kry office ela ya bona e tswaletse. Tsatsi le o yang ha o fitlha mola le computer a ba e bule. Motho o no tseya pasa hao a lebella a re project e eme. Lebaka la hore why project e eme a o tlhalosetse. So a ke itse hore le bereka bjang ka batho ba sa thusing setšhaba se se leng desperate. Nna sele ke ngwadisa ntlo ka 1992 ke 32 years ke ngwadise RDP a ke so e kry-e. Subsidy ya ka e phasitse ka 2016 ne ke le number 29 to be allocated ko ward 19. Batho ba ba tseneng ba feta 100 le ka tjeko a ke so founelwa ke so iriselo. So ke nyaka wa itse di situations tse so re kry-a dithuso ko kae ha o le so.
Okay, Tshidi. O tla mo ntle mola wa re ba o checkela hore how far is your beneficiary. Ke kopa hore no
System e a e bereke mo ntle. Ba tsere
system ha e
details,
bereke.
ba re system e a e bereke.
Stay down. Okay, are skera lo Tshidi o tlo tla ka mone. Number 2.
Dumelang, wa bolelang ke Samuel Maine, ke bereka ko City of Tshwane mo disability unit. Ke bereka ka batho ba phelang ka bogolofadi. My question ke gore why ge le aga dintlo, because ke nana gore mo di-formong di a bontsha gore motho o na le bogolofadi. So dintlo tsa bona why di tshwana le batho ba ba le normal, because those people batla ko officing ya rona ba tlo complain as e le di-client tsa ntho la rona. And rona a rena le budget ya gore re ka starta gore ne re ka thusa ntlo. Especially ba ba tsamayang ka di-wheelchair. Ba ileng gore ba na le bothata ba ntho la matlo is fine, but ba ba tsamayang ka ntho la di-wheelchair. So ne re he di-project di theowa le yona le khoneng gore le re thuseng ka that issue. And le bona percentage ela ne le raiser ya 33%, which target ya lona ke 1 e leng gore is even agele fa batho ba person ba disability. So le yona le khoneng gore le ba consider, because ba feel gore ba tlweletse ko ntle. So rona ke mmereko wa rona and every day to make sure gore dintho tse leng gore ba di batla ba tlo khona gore ne re ba thuse gore di fitlhelwe. Ke a leboha.
Re leboga ntate Maine. Number 3.
Ke a leboga Chair. Lebitso ke Herod Majeni wa go tswa ko 29 area committee. Chair, ere ke appreciate the meeting all o biditseng to the community. I think ke se re se tlhokang bjale ka setšhaba, service to the people ke ntho e ke lo ra e tlhoka. Then ge le tlile mo re tla re kgotsofala ka re tla kgona re ntšha dillo le go lahlela maele. The concern, Chair, e ke be rong ka batla go e raise some of the issues ke tse di tlhaileng ka go GEYODI ya go thusha batho ba bomme le youth. I wish the department itself can make sure gore the percentages di fitla go 40% instead of 18%. And I'm happy, Chair, after the donkey years, ya Ward 34 Central, ha ke batlo e senya ena le beng ba yona le councilora, gore khale e ntse e emetse, ene ke thabile go bona le the past petition chair a le teng. Ye nngwe re na le yona ne ke batla go botsa department gore ka the new demarcations ba bereka ka tsela ya mofuta o mofe. Re na le Ward 29 e tsereng Winterfeld, e tsere gape le motse wa go tshwana le bo di E. Gona mo ka mo moraga Central City go na le a section batho ba gona setse ba na le almost 35 years ba le teng ba ntse mo pele ga leriba la metsi. Anything can happen now ho ga ona dipula tse kgolo. But I will take an advice, Chair, re kgopele councillor Thabo Mathibedi go kgopela meeting le ba legislature kudibile le ba lefapha la housing gore batho ba ka thushwa ka tsela ya mofuta o mofe. Ke a leboga.
Ke a leboga Ntate Matjeni. I know this one's a Colin. Yes. Or HOD u delegate among, let me not delegate. HOD? Okay.
Dumelang bagolo. Ka lebitso ke Colin Pitso. Ke tla try to respond to the potso tse pedi o na le tswang go OCD. Maybe what is important go fela go apologize pele go OCD. Gore o fitlile go di officing tsa rona and the conduct was not of the right standard. We try and give everyone else the right services that everyone deserves. The reason why we do office Motswane is so that we can be able to help you. But ki kupele my tshwarelo lead department for the service that you have received. And I'm aware, Chair, that offline, come on, but what we have done, rinkile mabitso about the number tsa bona kaofela. Those are outside. And the commitment that we are making here is that once di khutla, by next week we should be able to communicate with individuals in terms of the statuses that is there. That's all. On the other issue that speaks to people living with persons with disabilities, as a department we've got an allocation policy which prioritizes persons living with disabilities, and in fact our target is over the 3% national. We are allocating 5% on all the houses that we're actually doing in the province. And on issues around the specification, what we normally do before we can be able to build a house for any person that is disabled, we have extensive consultation so that we can be able to understand whether someone is paraplegic or quadriplegic or visually impaired, so that we understand exactly what. But our houses for people, for persons with disabilities, 45 square meters. So we try by all means to have those particular consultation. We also have an engagement with NGOs for persons living with disabilities, so that we don't find ourselves in the wrong in doing so. That will be all on my side, Chair. Okay. Maybe on the demarcation, Chair.
Colin, what is the head of Tshwane saying? Angero now on a head office. Head ya Tshwane ore.
Okay, thank you, Chairperson. We are open every day in our offices, so I'm not sure. I will talk to the lady and just find out which offices. Otherwise, Tina, we're open every day, Monday to Friday, 8 to 4. I'm not sure if, that's why I'm asking, I'm not sure if they went to our offices
There will
at,
be a further question from the side of the committee. Renyago is angry, I was skimming his CD. Yes. Yeah, Austidi ore. He aya ko di officing ba thola di kwetsa ke.
We-
Ene ha ba fa ha ba fa ID. Le ho bula laptop ba e bule ba no e lebella ke. So now I've got a further question ya Tshidi. A re botsa hore ke di office tse di feng le rena re kgone ho ira oversight as committee unannounced. Ba no bona re tsena. Re be di mystery shoppers.
Yeah.
That's why I can call and don't respond. What is the head of Tshwane saying?
Our offices are at 50 Hamilton Street in Arcadia. And they're open Monday to Friday.
Okay, I can go ira dialogue. Colin, you are promising us that by next week, because the system is down, I understand, you will be able to respond to the stakeholders in terms of the assessment, how far they. Nah, ke tlo request that I can go get a Soshanguve bankun peka ditena. I'm frequenting Soshanguve regularly. I'm frequenting Lintate ke phela mo Soshanguve. Mo di age. A ke nya gore he ke tlile ba nkobe. So ke nya go respond. Ele tlo ba fang. Can you do a summary sent to the office so that Austidi a tlhakana le nna ko 29. Ko 29 he ke tlile ko 29. Askare, I'm still waiting for the response, Chairperson. Because you can just imagine the other thing issue here, the disability. DDG Pumzilo Zamai, the last time you remember when we were at West Rand, I asked a simple question. What about a person with disability? These houses are built for them. HOD, those are some of the things where we need to check in terms of policy issues. That in the building of the houses, when we say that these are meant for elders, let us consider them. When these are meant for people with disability, let us consider them. I know you're considering the veterans now. Let us consider especially houses of people living with disability, in terms of the ramp. I know it's a policy issue, it needs us, in terms of the ramp.
Space for the wheelchair inside.
Yeah, so that even the space of the wheelchair inside the house, even the space of the wheelchair inside the ablution, we should not plan in such a way that we are building all the houses for normal people. We agree in NECO HOD. We are agreeing. I think I will have another further meeting. Your hand is up. I've noted 3. I said I'm noting 3. I've said I'm noting 3. Your hand is up 4. If you are this team, we are having our own special meeting. Okay, can you hear what are you saying?
Thobela, ra leboha Madam Chair. Ke nnete le boletse le mogala bo gore tlatla re be le meeting. Mara re community ya ka mo Central Hostel. Asla mathomo re thoma go ikwa taba e ya gore re tle meeting ya go tshwana kana le ba re tla ba le meeting le le. Mo feleng wa taba re go department ya human settlement e tsamaile mmogo le Gauteng provincial legislature. Se ra khopela tswe. Ne re khopela taba ya human settlement legislature human settlement taba e ba itseba because mo matsogong ya bona re na le ngwaga ba ntse ba itshwere mo bona re na di report tse re di tshwereng ke bona se ne re khopela gore
tabe re no e bea pha mo pele ga batho le bona ba e karabela mo pele ga setšhaba se re ona mo.
Relifa Rona as the committee, your issue was brought to us by the Portfolio Committee of Petitions. And in the legislature, we've got portfolio committees. You submitted a petition to the petition committee. Chairperson Ezra Litswal, Advocate Ezra Litswal, send your petition to us. That is why, as a committee, we want to entertain the issue of Central. Your issue is the same as Balebadi floods, Bamamelodi. There was a petition sent to the petition committee. Then the petition committee sent it to us. We handle it as a committee in our separate meeting so that we form a way forward together. Meeting with you so that we agreed on issues that how are we going to approach it. If you want to open it here, there's no problem. Rena ikileko rena itla petition committee. Give and our bulela rukwena manga butaka.
Lena la ka ke na Mike Sebisi. La itse madam chair le ba la hore ya hore ba ikarabela ba human settlement. Re aware hore yes petition ya rena re submit le mo le. Mo fele ba taba e feletse re ya mo bathong ba ba right, the reverend people nga the human settlement. Sera makala meeting wa rena o mafelo ne re kwa ba re keng ena. Murula sa re dumelana le bona go re fa motho ba re ke mang ba re ke sipho mang ke ena tshwantse a re bolelesana rena le ene batho bo fele ba taba re khone go mkriya motho e tati swa re feletse re romelang tate mathebola a feletsa a bolelesana le lena le re khopela gore tlemo tse re nya gore human settlement a tle a arabe ka totse because re tshwere di report tsa
HOD ke madilang ka di issues sa di hostel. This is not a form, it's not a hostel, a municipality. Yes. Ema. Why in Samorena? So why in Samo committee? Why in? Ema. Okay, over to you.
All right, Chair, on that particular hostel, Timi Bare, they need to gather the facts. Habaso toli anything, habaso toli anything in relation to that hostel. So we need to gather the facts and provide a report. But Rona, we are working on the 58 and the 59 as far as we know. If it's not on the list, it's not on the list because it might have been overlooked by the municipality because the list was put together between us and the municipality. So at this point, we don't have any information.
That is why I said that I'm requesting a meeting because even your petition doesn't outline some of the things. That's why I've requested so that we discuss and the committee send information, the questions to the department. That's why I was saying that now you are taking it out of the committee. Nakuudli. We agree in that we will meet. Yes, thanks. As soon as you are done with your lunch, we will meet here, or I'll come and sit down with you there with 2 or 3 members so that the committee knows and will send it to the department. Because the department, in terms of the hostels, Larasa too, in terms of the hostels, you should bear in mind that the Department of Human Settlement is working hand in hand with the municipalities. When they request the list of the hostel, that is what they've provided. Now we want to intervene as a committee in terms of your petition, which has been sent to Advocate Liswalo. Advocate Liswalo sent it to us that, Member Chairperson Ndlovana, can you intervene? Can you discuss this issue with the petitioners so that you give us a way forward, that how are you going to handle it? Le rena re batlo le thusa bana ba mma. But immediately if you said that the committee should be sidelined, you want to deal with the department, rena re tlo re. Right? We are agreeing. Yes. Thank you. We have come to the end of the meeting. I will remain with the central people. Okay, the team leader, if you attend today, you'll tell me you are the team leader. So that we discuss the matters of central, so that we write a report, we send it to the department. Let me thank the honorable members for attending the meeting. I know that it was difficult for us. What do you want to raise, Abuti?
Dumela Chairperson, the whole portfolio committee. I think the Rishia le question mark. Mutwai Bimoge Joe from Ward 37, M17, Mshate Garden. The Rishia ka question mark. Allah Araba anything. And all of you are here. So I think, Chairperson, li metsa li cancela za rena ka matata. And I long rena, le palla kuti ya responsibility ya ona. But le buditse batho today ore le tlo utlwella ke kopela ore le utlwelle batho ba le mo ba botle di concerns tsa bona, and then le elo nna fatshe le di share according to the portfolio tsa lena, and then le next time le revita le na di answers le revita le na le plan, because I think you don't have plan. All of you don't have plan ya ore le tlo ira mo Soshanguve. All of you, the councillors are na di a ruhiwa every day. The Ruake community. Now, someone raise a voice more. Chairperson. That voice raise a more is the same voice everybody raise to our councillors. So you must take it, Chairperson. You must take the bullet as leadership. So, le rishaka question magonano. A reason a little pila. I don't know anyone or nor create this and this and this. Serious, Chairperson. Le Rishiaka question mark. It means you don't have plan. You don't have plan for Tshwane. Municipalities failing us. The provincial is failing us. National is failing us. Aye, come on, guys, come on. We are facing election now. We are going to election now. Lord, vote Thank you.
Can you tell us ke eng e re sa e respondang?
Simple one is the question anyway vutisa ba ra bana answer yona ka mo.
Be specific, re know or this one is not answered. And our plan for us to come to Soshanguve was to come and share with the community the third quarterly performance report of the department in terms of the budget which was allocated to the department. And also to come and share the projects which are done in Soshanguve. No, ke a leboga. Re tlo ira bjana, o ka Njabulo. Re tlo ira bjana. Let me thank everyone for attending the meeting. Even some of the community members are not happy that we didn't respond. But I think we have responded according to our plan as the portfolio committee. Let me thank the officials for leaving their meetings and come and share the information with the community. The portfolio committee members, thanks for attending. And the members of the community and also the stakeholders who send the questions to us, thanks for attending. Jackie, can you come and explain how are you going to dish whatever you're going to dish? Because I need to have a meeting with the central people before I go to Tshwane House. I've got another meeting at Tshwane House. Thanks, the meeting is adjourned. Can you submit the gadget? Ke kopa le dule fatshe. Re kopa le dule fatshe. Yeah. Tell them. Okay. Tell them.
Sanbonani. Sanbonani. Sicela nihlale phansi somseve ukudla nihleli phansi. Umuntu nomuntu ahlale phansi or ongena situlo ame but ningaphumi. So serve while you are here. Thanks.